What's up YouTube, I'm back in the still standing garage, and in this video I'm going to replace the lenses on these corner lights right here that belong to this 78 Monte right here. Now these lenses right here, these replacement lenses, I got these from SchaeferLens.com. This video is not sponsored by them. These are really good replicas right here. Check that out. Let me get a close-up of them. Look at that crazy detail on that little night right there. They come with the reflectors right here, real nice and clean. Look at that difference right there. It's gonna make the front end of this Monte pop. So in this video, I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna replace them. Schaefer Lens does have instructions on their website on how to replace these, so let's get to it. And here's what I'll be using to get the job done: a small putty knife, a flathead screwdriver, a rotary tool with sandpaper on it, that 60 grit that's on there, clear JB weld for plastic, the static mixer for the JB weld. They'll make things a lot easier when applying the JB weld, a small propane torch, a lot of clamps. I probably won't use all of them, but at least I have them available just in case, a heat gun, and also what I don't have in the video here is going to be patience, because I'm going to need lots of it. I am going to start with this one that has the lens all complete. I'm going to do this one first because this one I noticed that the housing is broken on this one, so I'm going to have to repair this one. You see that right there? That gray part right there is part of the housing, so I'm going to set this one off to the side. Let's start knocking this one out. Let's see how we can take this apart. And the way that I'm going to remove the lens off the housing here is I'm going to melt away the seam. You can see the seam a lot better right here. See that right there? So I am going to melt that away. This part right here is still part of the lens. I'm going to go in there and I'm going to start melting that away. And I'm going to be using my small putty knife. I'm going to heat this up, go in there, start taking that apart. One thing to note too is I am going to lean more onto the lens because I know I am replacing that. So I don't care about damaging that. I do care about damaging the housing because I am going to reuse that. So let's get to it. All right, with the small torch, we're going to heat up the small putty knife. We're just going to heat it up enough to where we can start melting away that part of the lens there, the seam. So we just got to get it nice and hot. Start getting cherry red like that. Start off in the corner right here. See how that goes in there real nice. Go in there, start melting that away. I have to keep doing this over and over. I can see the lens right there. Right there. You can see the separation right in the middle. You can see right where the lens is at. So I'm going to follow that all the way through to the other side. Alright YouTube, so the top looks like it's ready to go. Look how deep it got. I don't know if you can see that right there. See how deep that is. I'll probably have to come back and hit it in a couple of areas. I want to keep it safe. I don't want to mess up the housing here. So one thing that I learned is hitting it like this, the putty knife like this, is a lot better than hitting it the way I was hitting it in the beginning like this. So put it like this, really cherry hot, and go in there and starts going in a lot deeper, a lot faster. So time to go on this one. This one's going to be a little bit easier because I can see where the seam's at. Over here I couldn't see it. I had to kind of dig for it. I could see where the housing starts and where the lens is, but I couldn't see the seam, so I had to kind of dig for it. So here, hopefully it's going to be a little bit better. So let me heat up the putty knife and then we'll start hitting it. Start hitting the edge right here. Right here. Start hitting it right there. I'm going to come back and hit it a lot deeper. So I'm going to keep hitting it until I do this side, and then we'll move on to the other side. See, on this one, I could actually see where the housing ends. Right here, you can see that line. That line right there is where the housing is. So the lens sits on top of it. So I'm going to try to get all the way through to right there on the inside, and then I'll be done with this side. On these areas here, like the bottom and the top, you can't really see where the housing and the lens ends. So we'll just keep moving. Alright YouTube, so this side is completely done already, at least as much as I think it needs. It looks kind of funky right there, but I think these are areas that I could shape up later on. I was messing with it with the screwdriver. I was taking a screwdriver right here. See if I can show you, give you a good view. Look at that. It's already separating, so it's looking good. So now I'm going to move on to this side right here. Start hitting this side up right here. It's going to be a lot easier, like I mentioned, because I can see the seam here. It might be better to hit this with the Dremel tool rather than heating it up the way I am. But I'm trying it out how the instruction says. We'll see how that turns out. Let's keep it moving on this side. Alright YouTube, so this side's completely done. You can actually see through the the seam there. Put a screwdriver to it. Had to hit this little corner a little bit more, but see, it's almost there. This is very messy. Really, I'm not liking how this process is working out. I mean, like I said, I know I could clean all this area up. I could hit it up, sand it, or shape it however I want to make the other lens or the new lens fit on there, but it looks dirty right now. This process is very nasty, I should say, because it's like melting the housing, and it looks real bad. So I'm gonna start hitting this side right here. I am most likely gonna hit it from this side. So like I said, I want to lean. I got to remember to lean more onto the lens, because this is what I'm going to be throwing away. And I want to keep the housing. So like in some areas, let me see if I can show you real quick. Like right here, let me see if it'll focus a little bit. So right there, that's all getting deformed because I was leaning too far onto the housing rather than leaning onto the lens over here. So it's not supposed to look like that. So I just got to remember not to lean too far into the housing. So I'm gonna hit this side up right now, see if I can clean that up, and then we'll try to see if we can completely remove the lens now. So let's get that one going. Well, I don't want to mess up this corner either, because this is where that light bulb goes through. I don't want to mess up that hole, deform it in any way. That will suck, because then I won't be able to put in that light bulb there. So gotta be very careful not to mess that up. Alright, so it looks like all three sides are ready to go except for the top. So this one, and this over here looks like it's pretty good. It's just gonna be the top over here. Well, there it goes. Actually, it's not that bad at all. Ooh, that's clean. So this piece right here is a piece that was, let me see if it'll focus. The reflection's throwing off the camera focus. So this right here is a piece that was holding on. I think that's part of the lens, or the housing still. It's not the lens itself. So I am gonna clean this up. I have to clean it up. I think it was a pretty good job after all, after looking at it, because let me see if I can show you the lens here. Look at this lens. Kind of ate it up. I guess I hit it pretty good on that seam, like all this right here, all that right there. The top too, it's not that bad. It's not deformed. It didn't get that busted. So I guess it's good. I guess it's just that glue that just kind of throws everything off, you know what I mean? So I think cleaning this up real nice, I should be able to get this looking pretty good. All right, YouTube, and what I'm going to use to clean up all this glue is going to be a rotary tool. This is a Bauer Cordless. Got this on Black Friday at Harbor Freight. I believe I paid about 30 bucks. I put on a 60 grit drum here, so we're going to start hitting it with this. What's really cool about this one is that it's cordless. It's rechargeable. Pretty cool. So as I'm cleaning up the glue here, I am going to be grabbing the new lens that I'm going to put on there and check the fitment. Obviously, I'm going to clean off all that glue, and then as soon as I start getting close to where I want it to be, I'll start checking the fitment here to make sure that my glue and the lens is going to seal properly onto the housing here. So let's get to it. All right, YouTube, so it looks pretty clean now. I removed all the glue. So let's try on the lens and see what it looks like. See how it fits on there. So it looks like the top is good. It's good up there. It's good right here on this side. The only issue will be the bottom here. It looks like something is hitting. It looks like it's hitting more on this side. So I might have to hit up the lens to bring that down. I want it to be as close as possible. This side looks pretty good. With the clamps and everything, I think we should be all right. So you see that right there? That looks pretty good. See, that could close up with the clamps. So I think I'm gonna have to hit this corner right here on the lens to bring it down, to hopefully squeeze that in a little bit more. Then I want to fix this corner too, but I think I'm gonna heat that up a little bit just to bring it in, because that's part of the lens already, and I don't want to sand on it because then it's gonna actually remove that corner. So let me hit the lens. It's gonna be this right here. See how that fits. You could actually see a little bump right there if it'll focus right here. So we're gonna hit that corner. We'll do a little bit at a time. We don't want to take off too much. Damn, that closes it down a little bit more. That's perfect actually. Well, let me hit it just a little bit more. If you see that right there, it's getting better, so I gotta keep hitting that corner on the lens. Looks like something else on this side. I might have to hit this area on the lens right here to bring that down. I think I have to keep hitting it just a little bit more. That whole side right there. You see that gap at the bottom? That's what I'm trying to close, because here I won't be able to put clamps to squeeze it in and get that in, and I don't want to fill it up with glue either. So all right, YouTube, so with a little bit of shaping the lens and also the housing, I was able to make it fit a lot better. As you can see this right here, I really like the way that that's fitting. It's looking really good on this side. Up here, obviously I'm gonna be able to squeeze that. You can see that gap right there. I could actually squeeze it once I put the JB Weld on there. Also on the bottom part, you see how much better it is now. So the only thing that I'm not liking is this little section right here. As you can see, it kind of bubbled up, and I actually even made a hole there when I was hitting it with the putty knife there. It got a little too far in there with that heat, and it deformed this corner. Everything else, this side looks good, top side looks good. So what I want to do now is I do want to shape this up. So because it is deformed, what I am going to try to do is I'm going to try to heat up this area with the heat gun, and then try to push it down a little bit here and try to bring it, shape it pretty much back over to how it's supposed to be. See how that's looking a lot better? That corner's up. Everything's looking pretty flush there. I think I need to hit this little area down, but you get the idea. I'm gonna keep doing that until I get it to where I want. All right, YouTube, I finally got the housing exactly how I wanted. This bottom part was the last thing that I was working on, and look at this. It looks real nice and clean in that corner, exactly how I wanted. Everything mates up pretty good all the way around. Everything looks good. I already went ahead and I cleaned the housing, the inside of the housing and the inside of the lens, because there was a lot of powder all over the place from the Dremel or the rotary tool. So it's all clean now as best as I can, right? Because these are 40 years old, so they're good to go. So I already have my gloves on, so we can start putting together our JB Weld syringe and the static mixer, because we're going to start adding the glue now, or the epoxy. So let's get that going. Before I start putting together the JB Weld and the static mixers, I do want to point out that I am going to be putting JB Weld on the lens first. I marked an area here with pencil. Let me see if this thing will focus right there. So this area right here is pencil markings, so I can take them off later. But the reason for that is because the housing has a weep hole down there, and I don't want any glue in there. I don't want to cover that up, so that's the reason for it. So let's start the mixing. So what I want with these static mixers is an 1/8 bead when it comes out. So it has a diagram in the back. Here it tells me that 0.111 will be coming out if I cut the mixer at the step 2. So an 1/8 is about 0.125, so this is close to it. And here it tells me where I need to cut. So it has steps here, as you can see right there. So I'm gonna cut it with some dikes. Get number 2 right there. And that should give me about an 1/8. Hopefully that little thing that landed over there somewhere didn't hit the Monte. So that's where we're at right there. So we remove the cap. Cap is off. These have a notch that they need to line up. So here you have a notch on this side. See if you can see it right there. And then this one has a notch too. Somewhere, where are you? Right there. So these go in there like so. They get seated. It's locked into place. You're supposed to squeeze the syringe and let all the air out until it gets to the tip. and then we're ready to go. So it goes through, I think it's 18 steps that it takes to mix everything up, and that's how you get a proper mixture. So let's see, we'll push it really hard. Hopefully it doesn't get all over the place. There it goes. So you can see that mixing up all the way. It's going, it's going, it's going. And we're ready to go. A little bit came out. Hopefully this doesn't become a huge mess here. Do 1/8 of a bead. This thing doesn't move too much. Put about 1/8 of a bead. They sell different color JB welds for plastic. I originally got black because that's all I could find. And then I took my time and I finally got some clear. But I have the black one there. I don't think these areas you'll be able to see them once the bezels are on. So once the bezels are on, you won't be able to see it because it did have gray glue on here and I don't remember seeing it through, so it should be alright. Hopefully it doesn't create too much of a mess here. So we're good. So on this, I'd rather pull it than push it, have better control. There we go. So far so good. Pull it back. Put it on here. See, we don't create a mess here. We should be alright. Put this on here. Like so. Squeeze, squeeze. You know what I did? I didn't even pay attention to my weep hole over there like I had said that I needed to pay attention to, but it doesn't look like it's getting too messy here. It's looking good so far. A little bit came down right here. As you can see, it's dripping down. So let's see if I can get some paper towels and take it out so it doesn't go all the way to the front of it, because the bottom here is going to be covered and I'll be okay with it like that. If anything, if that weep hole gets covered, I think I could drill it out. It's going to be okay. As you can see the top right there, you can see some of the epoxy that started dripping, so I might have put too much. On the other one, I'm going to put a little bit less. It's still moving a little bit. Let me grab some of those clamps. So there's a corner right there at least. It's on. I know that's not going to pop off. There was another one that I was going to be able to do, which would be this side over here. And that was with the big one. Like so. That one's on there. Pretty good. Okay, that one's on there pretty good. So I was able to put that one down there. See, the weep hole almost closed up, but the hole's still there. I think I could drill it out. Like I said, it'll be okay. Alright, YouTube, so I was able to put 4 clamps all the way around. It looks pretty good. I was checking it off camera. Everything is good, except for that weep hole that, you know, just got away from me. It is what it is. But everything looks good all the way around. I'm going to let it sit and do its thing and cure. Hopefully, it's good to go. It says that it sets in an hour, but 24 hours to completely cure. And this static mixer here, we're gonna need to take it off. This is already trash, so counterclockwise pull it off and then throw it away. And this syringe, I could save it, same thing, match the notch there and close it. And supposedly I should be able to use this, so that should be good for the other lens, which I need to take care of still. So I'm gonna set this one off to the side and then get the other one going. Let's go. And there it is. Both lenses are installed on the housings. Everything turned out really good. I did end up leaving the clamps on them for about 2 days each to make sure everything cured properly. This is the driver's side. This is the first one I did. I was planning on drilling out that weep hole there, but I think that's enough of a hole. I'm good with that, so I'm just going to leave it alone. I tried pulling it apart to see how good that JB weld was holding up, and it's holding up really good, so I'm liking the way that it turned out. I ended up doing the passenger side a little bit different than I did the driver's side. I ended up applying the JB weld on the housing rather than applying it on the lens like I did the driver's side. It turned out a lot better. The weep hole was cleared compared to the driver's side, so it's really good. Here, I'll show you. See how clean that looks, and everything turned out really good. It takes a little bit of maneuvering or massaging the lens to fit the housing, and as long as you take your time to do it, it'll turn out really good. That's why that patience is key. One thing here on this one, on the passenger side, remember it was broken. I couldn't figure out a way to clamp that to be able to close that together, so what I ended up doing is I applied JB Weld to fill the gap. It looks clear, it looks like it's open, but it's actually filled with JB Weld in there, and it's very rigid. Let me see if I can show you real quick. Yeah, like it won't move at all. I'm pressing down on it, trying to move it, it won't move. So I'm happy with it. It's sealed all the way. It's good to go. One thing to note on these lenses that I noticed after I was already gluing it all together on the passenger side is if you look at the driver's side, you see how the driver's side has that, like that chrome accent or that silver line right there. The passenger side didn't have it, so Schaefer lens dropped the ball on that. So it is what it is. I mean, you can't really tell. Obviously, it's big difference compared to this to that. So I'm happy with it, but I just wanted to note that they dropped the ball on this. But other than that, everything else looks good. Everything's ready to be installed.